Doc, you've been a part of some of the greatest moments in postseason history. Heck, you are one of the greatest moments in postseason history. What you witnessed with this team last October, those moments, where do those rank on your all-time list?
I think from my perspective, my lens, it's at the top. I think obviously we won a championship in 2020. Being down 3-1 to the Braves was something that I'll never figure out how it happened for us to come back and win 3 in a row. Special team. Last year there were just a lot of different points in the season where our backs were against the wall. We faced elimination a lot last year, and for us to come out on the other side was truly spectacular. It just speaks to how connected that team was. And then, you know, when you look at Freddie's year, on the field, off the field, certainly, and what he had to endure, and to see now how it played out, as he had one of the, if not the biggest moment in Dodgers franchise history.
Walk-off grand slam.
Walk-off grand slam in the World Series against the Yankees. So how that played out is something that really I'll never forget. And then ultimately having Walker close out that game after 2 days off. There's so many points with the team. But I think the takeaway is they're just such a tough team, and they were not going to be denied last year.
So the Dodgers win the World Series, and then your front office wins the offseason, completely reloads. This team arguably better than the one that won the title. Is that fair, Dave? The Dodgers ruining baseball, Dave?
The short answer is no, we're not. We draw 4 million fans a year at Dodger Stadium. The support that we get on merchandise and the brand of the Dodgers, and I just feel great that our ownership, our front office reinvests that money into the ball club and making us better. So on paper, we're more talented, if that's even possible. We're deeper, and I just, you know, when you have a X on your back, a bullseye on your back, and to know that the ownership and front office are doing everything they can to make you even better, then it puts more of the onus on us to kind of realize their expectations.
World Championship, great offseason, and you show up here to Camelback Ranch, and you've got guys who are hungry. And you've got guys, some of the best players in baseball, coming in here. Mookie Betts telling guys he's not satisfied with 3 titles. He wants to win back-to-back. And you got Freddie Freeman telling guys we need to show up at 7 a.m., we need to do everything right, the fundamentals, so that way we can get back to October. Talk about the luxury of a manager to have superstar players with that kind of attitude.
It's everything. I think that sometimes as a manager, you can at times, especially when you've been around for 10 years, you don't ever want it to go on deaf ears. But a lot of the things that you say are kind of repeated because there are certain pillars or beliefs that I have. But when you have the players, certainly superstar players, echo and add their kind of twist to what they feel this organization, this ball club needs, that's everything. We have guys that have won multiple championships. We have guys that have come into camp that have not won a championship at all. So speaking to your hunger, now you have that kind of infusion. It just continues to raise the bar for the Dodgers.
And then, of course, you've got a guy like Shohei Ohtani, who just was the best player in baseball last year and now brings a whole other dimension to the game. You and I do this every year. We sat before the season last year, and I asked you, what did you think it was going to be like to have a guy like Shohei Ohtani in the team? And you said, I just don't know. I don't know what this is going to be. Now that you've had a year with Shohei, what is it like to manage the maybe the greatest player that's ever played?
You know, it's actually very easy in the sense of having a player of his caliber motivated and disciplined. The other part of it is this year, he is going to pitch this year. He's going to be a designated hitter as well. So I don't know how to manage that. He's done it before. So a lot of my kind of managing of him is counting on information from him. Yeah. It's from, you know, the coaches, the training staff, and figuring out what's the best balance for Shohei. But I do know that Shohei is all in on the Dodgers and whatever we do, and ultimately to win another championship. So he won an MVP last year, and certainly he's the front runner again to win the MVP, as he's now hitting and pitching.
As we all descend upon spring training here in Arizona, we media types, we come up with lists, right? And we think, okay, what's the storylines for the Dodgers coming into spring? And everyone has their own opinion. I want to know, the manager of the Dodgers, what's your opinion? Give me your top 3 storylines this spring for the Dodgers. Let's start with number 3.
Ooh, number 3 storyline for the Dodgers. I think, can Yoshinobu Yamamoto take the next step forward to be a number 1 or number 2 to anchor a championship caliber team.
And you've already said he's ahead of where he was last year.
And he is. I think number 2
storyline for the Dodgers this spring.
I think number 2 storyline is, can the offense continue to perform the way that they're capable of, which will allow a lot of coverage or protection over a staff that we need to manage how they're used, their usage. And when you win games by good margins and you win games because of your offense, that helps my decision making and allows me to protect guys.
Okay. And the number one storyline of the Dodgers this spring is?
I think the number 1 storyline is Shohei. You know, he obviously is always a header, but he is now hitting, coming off a major surgery, and now pitching. If he can just continue to stay healthy, make 20 plus starts, take 550 plate appearances, it's going to be a great year.
Okay, I like that. I like those 3. I had one other one on my list that you did not include, and it's the fact that you, Dave Roberts, you've won 851 games as manager of the Dodgers. The 3 guys ahead of you, you're 4th on the all-time list. The 3 guys ahead of you have a higher winning percentage than them. You've won a couple of World Series now as manager of the Dodgers. You're a former manager of the year. And you have an expiring contract, Dave. Is there any reason in the world that you should not become the highest paid manager in all of baseball? I'm not trying to play your agent.
I hope that's not a storyline. Because you know me, Kyle. I definitely don't want it to make it about me. I don't want this expiring contract to be a story, to be ultimately a distraction for the players. It is getting late in the game. I'm very hopeful that something will get done. It's a place that I've made no secrets that I want to be here. This is the only organization I want to manage. I think I've invested a lot of time into the players, the organization, the fan base, the sponsorships. But as far as kind of a contract resolution, I'm hopeful.
Okay, that's fair.
Is that political enough?
That's very nice.
That's pretty political.
Yeah, as your agent, I don't want you to go there, Dave, but how long do you want to manage for?
You know, I do think that this is the only team I want to manage.
Okay.
I think probably another handful of years.
Okay.
I think that I'm getting better each year managing. I know that the trust that I have with the players has never been higher. I think my energy, my joy for the game is only getting, increasing. I'm not an aging player where my body, Father Time, is going to win out. I think that as you get experience in this chair, you get better. So, I don't know. We'll see if this last contract, if it comes to pass, will be the last one. We'll see.
All right, we wish you the best on that. Let me ask you about another guy with a lot of experience, and that's Clayton Kershaw, coming back for his 18th season, and we won't see him for a while, but to hear a guy like Blake Snell, one of your newcomers, talk about how one of the highlights of his career was to throw a bullpen with Clayton Kershaw, watching him. His value to this team obviously goes well beyond just throwing pitches on the mound in a game, right?
Yes, it does. I think early on in camp, there's been a lot to be said about, made of his relationship with Bobby Miller, which speaks to his character as a teammate, trying to make people around him better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one of the reasons he signed with the Dodgers is to get a first-hand look at Clayton and how he goes about his business. Their lockers, as one of his demands was to be lockered right next to Clayton, which is great. And I think for me is, you know, there's people that are great at what they do, but to want to continue to be better and learn and continue to learn. And so for Blake to really feel that having Clayton Kershaw watch one of his pens as being one of his most exciting, memorable moments speaks to him as a person, speaks to his character, right? And I know that Clayton knows that. And I'm excited to have Clayton back with us and back in camp. And I learn from Clayton, and I learn from people that are better than me. But I'm really excited to continue to learn more about Blake Snell.
And finally, let's circle back to Shohei Ohtani, because here's a guy, you talked about the focus that he has and the drive to be the greatest player that ever lived. And yet, he finds the time to play a prank on his own manager. Just tell us about that side of his personality that he comes up with that, and what were your thoughts when all that went down?
I love it. I love it. I definitely dish it out a lot.
You know?
And I think the thing is that we are seeing Shohei's real personality come out each and every day.
Yeah.
I thought last year we got to see more of Shohei, and I think that his teammates, the fans are starting to see that he is young at heart. He's a jokester. He's fun-loving, easygoing, but he takes his job seriously. And he certainly caught me off guard by taking my car and putting the toy Porsche, in my parking spot.
Did you get your car back?
I did get my car back.
Okay, good.
But I've got a memory of an elephant, so I told him, I said, hey,
payback.
You're 1-0 now, but we got a long way to go.
Do you get to keep the Porsche, by the way?
I kept the Porsche.
Oh,
that's
nice.
right. That's right.
Thanks, Dave. Always appreciate
Cal,
your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was good.
Hey, Dodgers fans! Have you ever wondered what would happen if one of the biggest sluggers in MLB landed in Los Angeles? Well, an insane rumor just popped up, and it could involve a blockbuster trade that no one saw coming. Rafael Devers to the Dodgers? Sounds crazy, but an expert floated this idea that could change the course of the season. Does it make sense? How would it impact the team? Stick with me, and I'll break it all down. Start of analysis, the Boston problem. To understand this potential trade, we first need to look at the situation in Boston. The Red Sox just signed Alex Bregman in free agency, which was already a bombshell move. The problem? Bregman is one of the best defensive third basemen, but the Red Sox already have Rafael Devers, who plays the same position. The obvious solution would be to move Devers to the designated hitter, DH, role, but he doesn't want to. Reports suggest that Devers is unwilling to make that move, which could cause a major internal conflict in Boston. If this tension continues, there's a real chance he could request a trade. And that's where the Dodgers come in. The trade projection. According to Bleacher Report's Zachary Reimer, if Devers does hit the trade market, the Dodgers would be top contenders to land him. The proposed trade package includes: Dodgers receive Rafael Devers. Red Sox receive Max Muncy, Chris Taylor, Bobby Miller, and prospect Alex Freeland, Dodgers number 4 prospect, shortstop. Does that sound like a high price? Absolutely. But is it worth it? Let's dive in. Why the Dodgers want Devers. One key reason the Dodgers are the top team in this race is their need for a third baseman in better form. Muncy has been solid, but his inconsistency and defensive struggles have raised concerns. Meanwhile, Devers is a legitimate superstar with a proven bat, and plugging him into the hot corner in Los Angeles could take this team to another level. Plus, let's not forget the Dodgers' aggressive approach. When LA sees an opportunity to get better, they go for it. They landed Mookie Betts in 2020. They went all in on Shohei Ohtani. Why wouldn't they do the same for Devers? Impact on the Dodgers lineup. First off, Devers is an elite hitter. In 2023, he hit over 30 home runs and had an OPS above .850. Adding a player of this caliber to the heart of the Dodgers lineup alongside Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman would make this team an absolute offensive powerhouse. The downside? Defense. Devers isn't known for his defensive skills at third base, and the Dodgers would have to decide whether to keep him there or make adjustments in the infield. But considering his offensive impact, this trade could be a game changer. Historical context. To put this into perspective, the Dodgers have made big trades in the past to acquire star power. Remember when they landed Mookie Betts from the Red Sox? That move changed the franchise and brought a World Series title to LA. Could Devers be the missing piece for another championship run? History tells us that acquiring elite talent has paid off before. What about the players the Dodgers would lose? Now, the other side of the equation, losing Muncy, Taylor, and Miller would be tough. Muncy is a key offensive piece and a clubhouse leader. Taylor has been a critical utility player, capable of covering multiple positions. And Bobby Miller, this is the biggest question mark. The young pitcher has already shown the potential to become a future ace. But if we focus on winning now, Devers could provide a much bigger immediate impact than any of those players. Especially considering that the Dodgers are in full win-now mode, especially after recent playoff disappointments. What would this mean for the Dodgers' playoff chances? One of the biggest issues in recent years has been the Dodgers' struggles in October. Despite dominant regular seasons, the team has fallen short in the postseason. Adding a player like Devers, who has a strong track record in clutch moments, could be exactly what LA needs to get over the hump. Imagine an NLCS matchup where you have Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, and Devers all in the same lineup. That kind of firepower could make the Dodgers nearly unstoppable against even the toughest pitching rotations. Would the Red Sox accept this trade? And from Boston's perspective? Well, if Devers truly asks out, the Red Sox would need a substantial return, and this package makes sense. Muncy and Taylor can contribute immediately. Miller, if healthy, has the potential to be one of the league's best pitchers, and Alex Freeland could be a valuable future asset. The big question is, would the Red Sox really part ways with a player signed through 2033 who is considered the face of the franchise? That largely depends on what unfolds in the coming months. The fan perspective, would you make this trade? So, Dodgers fans, now I want to hear from you. If this trade actually became a possibility, would you be willing to send Muncy, Taylor, Miller, and one of our top prospects to land Rafael Devers? Is it worth boosting an already dominant offense, even at the risk of losing depth? Do you think the Dodgers should prioritize offense over pitching depth, or would you rather see them focus on strengthening the rotation instead? Let's get the debate going. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, share it with other fans, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any Dodgers updates. See you next time.